Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Trinea Reed, and I am the Workforce Development Manager here at the Amputee Coalition. And today I have the pleasure of introducing Miss Ayana Washington, Director of Workforce Development at Easterseals, Florida. And she's also one of our Employment Council members as well. Within our Workforce Development Employment Council. So thank you so much, Miss Ayana, for being here this afternoon, and I will let you get started.
Okay, thank you. The pleasure is all mine, Trinea. I'm appreciative of being here. And I just want to take this time to kind of walk you through workforce development. And I am with Easterseals, Florida, but you'll understand why I said that as we go through this information session. Hopefully, you'll walk away just knowing a little bit more about why we do what we do and how workforce development came about and Easter Seal's role in the workforce development community. So, this is just a little video that I really like it. It's called "That's My Easter Seals" from our national Easter Seals, and I'm gonna just play this video. And as you can see on the screen, 1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. But I just love this video; it just sets the tone.
I don't think we have sound, Ayana, on our end.
No sound.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything from my end. Let's see.
Let me see. I'm sorry. Let me see. Well,
Or maybe we could
I
just play it with the closed captioning.
yeah, it has. Let's see. Hold on. Um, I don't know why it's not doing the sound. Okay, so let me see if we can with the closed caption. And it has the, all right, let's try now. Okay, so you probably didn't hear, but everything she was saying was in closed caption. Um, and basically it's just learn more, get involved. And I'm sorry about the sound, but it's just her saying that there's an Easter Seals. That's her Easter Seals being in every community. So, Easter Seals National. For those of you who do not know, or maybe you've never heard of Easter Seals, our national office is in Chicago. It's America's largest nonprofit healthcare organization. You know, we're committed to the comprehensive health and wellness of more than 1.5 million people that they serve each year, and is prepared to respond to the needs of the 1 in 4 Americans living with a disability today. And we use outcomes based services for all disabilities throughout the lifespan. And that's something unique about Easter Seals, as nationally and in Florida. It's a lifespan service. We have services that they say from the cradle as a baby to the grave. So that covers the span. And so as you can see, I just put a little points up here. The man that you see on the screen is Edgar Allan. He is credited for starting Easterseals. And, out of tragedy came triumph for him. So he launched the Easter Seals campaign to raise money for his son who was in a tragic accident, and there was no care for his son, and they lacked the adequate medical services for his son. So it prompted Allen to sell his business and begin a fundraising campaign to build a hospital in his hometown in Ohio. Through this, he actually built a hospital. And he was surprised to learn that as he was doing this work back then, that the children with disabilities were often hidden from public view. So, of course, this has inspired him even more. He wanted to make a difference. So, in 1919, Allen founded the National Society for Crippled Children, the first organization of its kind. Of course, that evolved, right? He raised money. He made sure he's like, okay, I'm not going to stop here. So, in 1934, they launched their first campaign to raise money. And what they did, they had an Easter seals and it was a seal. It was like a stamp. And in 1945, they expanded their vision across the country and in communities nationwide. He opened our services to adults and returning World War II veterans. So Easter Seals emerges. They had an overwhelming public support for the SEALs campaign, and they kept that for a very long time. And so by 1967, the Easter Seal was so well recognized, the organization formally adopted the name Easter Seals. Just a little bit of history as we move forward so you understand how this organization was born. And so Easter Seals today, they advocate to ensure that all people are empowered to access their rights under the ADA. Easter Seals was huge advocate in change and getting ADA laws and everything, to go through. So they were really just instrumental in this fight. And so the next 100 years, if you look at the National Easter Seals website, it will talk about the next 100 years. What's next. And so that was their campaign. 2019, Easter Seals celebrated 100 years of impact. And so, what does this mean today? So today, this means services in all the states. 100 years of impact in the lives of individuals with disabilities or other special needs, their families and communities throughout America as a powerful advocate and leading provider of innovative services. In marking this milestone, Easter Seals reflected on its legacy of delivering equality, dignity, and independence to people with disabilities while embracing a future where every one of us is 100% included and 100% empowered. And we take that seriously in every state, and especially with our organization, Easter Seals Florida. Empowerment, inclusion is something that we strive for in the workplace. And so you'll see on here that I also included like opportunity, and it shows at one of our centers, little children playing on the floor, and the lifespan they talk about, the coverage of Easter seals from birth, to the grave. Well, it starts there. It starts with children. And then we want to give those children an opportunity through childhood, through the teenage years, through those transition years, through college, and then, through that workspace that we're learning about and that we're creating and that we're leading the way. Quality of life, leadership, careers, advocacy, health. And not many people know when you think of Easter Seals, you don't think of us as a healthcare organization, but we are classified as a healthcare organization. We take care of the health of the person, the community, and we take care of the health of just not the community, but the employers that are individuals who are using our services, the health of just being able to go to work. There's a health surrounding that, and the growth. So here's the four areas of impact across the nation: education, health, employment, and community. And those are the things that we see the most impact. These are for, of course, a highlighted employment as we are workforce development. And, we're talking about workforce, but it's to get to the workforce, education, health, and the community all plays a part in this. And so nationally, these are the four impact areas, and programs that are designed to help children and adults learn and often relearn. Because remember, some people forget that, hey, a tragedy might happen in someone's life and they've never been a part of our community, and now they are. So guess what? The stuff that they knew, and this is especially in the case of traumatic brain injury, which we help a lot of individuals with traumatic brain injury. Um, relearning, relearning is a big thing in our industries, and learning this and relearning just information and relearning just how to function and be a part of society. So basic functions, mastering skills needed to develop and thrive and be sharp and active, as you age and as you go through this life, because we care about the quality of your life. We care about what that means. So the early childhood, inclusive childcare also in many neighborhoods is non-existent. Educational programming, training throughout the lifespan, assistive technology, social skills and coaching and enrichment activities. And when we talk about health and we talk about what that means, we mean hands on, comprehensive, vital therapies and services which ensure health and wellness so that children and adults can reach the potential that we see in them. So, Easter Seals, Florida, who we are. Easter Seals, Florida is headquartered in Winter Park. We've been in business since 1948. Easter Seals, Florida serves 40 out of the 67 counties. Easter Seals also provides exceptional service to all, and we want to ensure that individuals with disabilities or special needs and their families have equal opportunities. Now, why do we say and their families? Well, because it takes a family sometimes. Those are your supports a lot of times. And so we can't just help the one person. We have to be able to offer services and information to the family, what works for the family, because if it works for the family, if it works for our community, it makes everything smoother, makes everything better. Elevating the community means also elevating the family in which that individual lives. So the programs that we have for children, adults, and caregivers, we want you to operate at the highest level that you can. And sometimes that means you need to relax, like live, relax, connect, thrive in your communities. And so when we do that, taking care of the individual means taking care of the family, taking care of the community as a whole. So these programs strengthen the local community overall and encourage individual engagement and participation in their local communities. And so as our national Easter Seals promote this, they promote this on a national level. And so I always have the little tagline there that says paving the way to live, learn, work, and play in the communities, because that's what Easterseals Florida also shares. Like you'll see that on our website, but you'll also see that nationally. And if I'm going too fast, please just let me know. So our journey, you hear me say she introduced me as Director of Workforce Development. I sit on, the National Amputee Coalition Workforce Development Council. But in my position, that's not where I started. That's not where our department started. So I just wanted to kind of take you on a journey, given the history. So now you have a little background information of the National Easter Seals. So, given the journey, right? I have this little road. We actually started as employment services. We had a very small staff, one vendor source. We had have a certificate program, and this is what we were. And it was a very good program. I mean, that was the name of it, Employment Services. It was Easter Seals, Florida Employment Services. If you looked at that, that's what you would have seen. We are a VR vendor. Vocational rehabilitation is an integral part. We really do push that people understand what vocational rehabilitation is. They are an arm of the Department of Education. They are there. They're a federal program. They're there to assist in this. They are there to help you get those opportunities and help you find employment. And companies and organizations like us, we're vendors of them so that we can get authorizations to help individuals out. So we had that for a long time, right? That was what we did. I was an employment consultant. Um, we covered two areas in person, meaning that we had two areas in Florida that we had somebody on the ground. We had virtual classes that would cover more areas, but it was just a small staff. And then as we went through this, and of course, the little thing called COVID hit, right? And changed not just the way Easter Seals had to do things, but it changed a lot of organizations, nonprofits, and it really a lot of nonprofits. But something happened during COVID with employment for individuals with disabilities. The unemployment rate for it dropped and employment rose. So anyway, light bulb. You see the little light bulb? The opportunity for growth. Opportunity for growth came. How do we shift? How do we shift? This is what I want you to know. Here's the shift. So here's some things to know. But the shift came because of this, right? So look at these statistics. And yeah, I got this from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Individuals with disabilities are more concentrated in service. It's the service area as far as employment. There's less representation in management, business, and financial operations for individuals with a disability. Good news, in 2023, employment population ratio for people with a disability increased by 1.2% points from and 22.5%. I got that from online, and we were looking at the statistics from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, sorry. So with all of that said, our VP and our executive board said, hey, we need to really change employment service for something that's more inclusive. And workforce development is how that was born. There's a need for the holistic wraparound approach for employment. Yes, in employment services, you can get resume reviews, and you can be consulted on how to go to an interview and how to do the phone interviews and mock interviews and all of that. But we really needed a holistic approach, and workforce development did that for us. So we grew, right? We grew, they hired a director, which is myself. And then I had an assistant. And then we said, what are some areas in Florida we can grow? Let's take our lead from national, right? Let's take that charge. Let's elevate the community. Let's look and see what we need to do. So that's what we did. Um, it's important to have a holistic approach. And that is evident by how the National Amputee Coalition created such a wonderful council, because they also know that workforce development is more than just let me tell you who's hiring, let me see your resume, let me show you how to submit this online. There's more that goes into it. So, what is workforce development other than what I told you? And I really like the Wanelo definition. I took theirs because it just really encompasses what this is. And so, workforce development is considered an interconnected set of solutions to meet employment needs. Workforce development can include changes to culture. We need the change to culture, changes to attitudes. Oh my goodness, they're speaking our language, right? And changes to people's potential that help to positively influence a business's future success and the success of the individual. Why do we do this? Why does Easterseals connect with other organizations? Why? Because we're trying to change culture, because together we're stronger. Why are we doing this? Because a lot of times, unfortunately, individuals with disabilities, the potential that they have is not being met. It is handed jobs. Oh, here's a job, not a career. Now, hey, what's your dream job? What are you looking to do? And then as students, as parents, um, people get discouraged because they don't know where to go. They're like, well, I guess I'll just do this. Well, somebody told me that I can go here where there's help. Well, I did go to this place. And so this is why workforce development, the development piece is crucial because of this, because changing culture just doesn't happen with a job posting or a DEI hired director that you're like, oh, we have a DEI department. Well, what are we doing to change the culture? Are we being seen? Are you hiring people in positions so that that person can see themselves at your place of employment? And that's where Easterseals would like to think that this is where we come in and help. This is where we make those connections. This is where we talk. This is where we say, hey, let me talk to you and let us explain why we're here. So here's what we went from employment services, and now we are workforce development team. And it's here's a list. This isn't all inclusive, but this is the gist of everything that we do. So community outreach and advocacy. Okay, well, what does community outreach have to do with me working? Well, just what I told you. If the community doesn't know that the resources are there, then how are we helping? Advocacy. I have another as we go through this, we'll talk more about advocacy. Supported employment, employment services, put VR in parentheses because these are services that VR offers and that we as a vendor can do these services. We give these services, supported employment, employment services, on the job training. Oh, how important is that? On the job training is where you literally what it sounds like. Go on the job, see if you like it. Not only do you need to see, like, okay, do I like this company? Does the company like me? Is this a good fit? Maybe not. Maybe I just had it all wrong and I don't like this. Well, that's good to know, why people have internships. You either like it and you're like, oh wow, this is great, or okay, I know I do not want to do this. Well, that's the same with the on-the-job training. Okay, I'm crossing this one off my list. Let's do something else. Customized pre-employment training services. This is something that I try to do every day, to make connections with companies and organizations to customize training services. What does that mean? What is a customize? So let me give you an example. We may go into let's say Walgreens or CVS. We met with them and they say, oh, we believe in what you do. Well, moreover than just coming into our store to make sure that it's, that we are make sure that we have met all the requirements like ADA for like people coming in here to work. Moreover, we talked about setting up a building, a mock building, where they can train at one of the Easterseals facilities. That's a customized pre-employment training. Those are the type of trainings that we sit down and negotiate and we talk about who our audience is, who are we training, where are they coming from, how we're finding them, what it means. This is really essential for those careers that we talked about, not just a job, but a career. So on a smaller scale, what if I'll use Goodwill? What if there's just something, hey, we're missing this piece. We really need, we don't need, the interviewing, we don't need the resume. We got that covered, but can you cover basic finance? Well, of course. Why is that important? Because, you want to get a job, get a paycheck. Okay. Should I bank at a regular bank? Should I use a credit union? What's out there for me? What does this mean? What does it mean if I collect Social Security? What does this mean? How will this affect me? What do taxes look like? But not on a high level, just on a basic level. And so that is a customized pre-employment training. And then self-advocacy. Oh my goodness, self-advocacy. Um, this is what you need to say. This is, you know, here's where you talk about what you need. What are my rights? The ADA protects you from discrimination in all employment practices, including job application procedures, hiring, firing, training, pay, promotion, benefits, and leave. Advocate for yourself. Know this information. We teach this. We're actually certified. We get certified through vocational rehab in order to teach self advocacy. We can teach it through a VR authorization, or companies or organizations that ask us to, can you come in? Hey, can we do something? Can we talk about this? Career camps. That is, I put VR service because the title career camp is specifically for VR. They call it a career camp. And then under that, you'll see me put summer camps because a summer camp and career camps, they're alike, but VR has certain stipulations and different things that goes along with theirs. Summer camps, we can design that for organizations, for school districts, tours. And so you said, what's a tour? Okay, a tour is just what it sounds like, except for in our world, we want to give you a tour of where you potentially think you might want to work, the industry you think you want to go into. And so then that tour may then go ahead and launch your next train of thought, like, oh, well, I did tour this place and I think I might want to do on the job training here. Maybe. Let's see. But the tour triggers that, right? Or it may trigger, you know what? I don't like this at all. But before we take our students or individuals on a tour, we as the employment council, we as employment consultants, and me as a director may go into a place and say, oh, I don't think that this would be a good idea. Your building is not adequately, you know, prepared for what we're bringing to you. We'd be more than happy to talk about changes you can make, or, oh, this environment for maybe there's a group of students we have in mind. And we can go in there ahead of time, even before a tour is scheduled, and say, this may not work for the group that we currently have, and tell that business why or why not. Or we're going to say, this is perfect. I can't wait to schedule a tour. So the tours are important. And then consultation and partnerships like we're doing right now. Consultation is for the community, businesses, organizations, and skills training with certifications, which I'll get more into. Ah, self-advocacy. See, this is what does this mean to you? Again, me mentioning knowing what to say, knowing your rights, and really using your voice. But we train for this. Everybody, this is not something that you're expected to know just right off the bat. Somebody has to tell you, somebody has to teach you how to advocate. And this is across the board. So with a disability, without a disability, advocating for yourself is not something that comes natural for everybody. And so we train for this and we teach this. And so here's the goal: learn how the laws such as IDEA and ADA protect students, but not just students, individuals with disabilities. We work with a lot of students, so I put students, but learn when it may be appropriate to discuss your disability. Identify and list individual needs across the board for yourself, just for your own self enrichment. Identify and list your needs. Know what your needs are. Learn effective techniques for disclosing your disability. Learn how to respond to personally intrusive or illegal questions about your disability. This goes back to getting the training. You may not even know that it's an illegal question. It may feel intrusive, right? But is it illegal? Unless you're taught that or know somebody to say, hey, listen, you don't have to say this, or you don't have to. These are the things that really makes where you work and what you decide to do important, learning how to advocate for those things you want. We in workforce development, we really want to see careers. We want to see, get jobs where you can enjoy life, the quality of life, not just having something. Here's something that I can just go to. No, something that you enjoy and that you like. And so advocating for yourself and learning this for yourself will enrich your employment years and your journey through what you decide to do. And so describe educational or transitional strengths, areas of improvement, and your goals. So basically, know yourself. Know yourself. And that's across the board. I can't tell you how many times I rewrite my strengths and I rewrite areas that I need to improve in. And I rewrite goals probably every other month with my existing list of goals. So these are just best practices. But this all falls under the umbrella of self advocacy. And last, state. State is just state what it is. Voice your goals. State that to yourself. State that to your future employer. Let it be known what you're trying to do. Don't be scared to say, hey, always wanted to be in management. I wanted to be an executive at this company. This is my goal. This is the path that I'm looking for. And it's okay to say that. It's okay to share. And so that leads me right into career exploration. Analyze yourself. I can't, I, obviously, I'm passionate about this part of it because it's listed in two slides. So analyze yourself, your values, job interests, likes, dislikes, your dreams. What happens when you don't encourage dreams? Well, a lot of times our students, our adults, individuals that's looking to change a career. Oh, I've been doing this career because, I was told or I feel comfortable because of my disability that this is the best job for me. But is this what you dream of? Is it? How can we help you explore something different? How can we take what you did and what you learned as far as transferable skills and put it somewhere else? Are there any steps that I need to take for the job that I want? And this is where we are. This is what Easterseals come, we step in and say, we can help you with this. Let's explore together. So discovery is an important aspect to our department, our community partners, schools, and especially to our Strive program. So what I'm gonna do at this point, so now that you understand the umbrella of what Easter Seals workforce development is, I'm going to show you a few of our programs. So this is the skills training results in vocational employment, better known to us as Strive. A Strive program results in certificates, and these certificates are something that will enhance your journey to your career, what you do next, or it will give you an opportunity to decide if you want to keep going further in that area. So Strive skills training results in vocational employment. Um, Here's a picture. This is an actual picture from one of our training programs. I'm really proud of this program, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit. So, this skills training program is something that we just launched. And we found that in the schools in that transition age, 18 to 22, and even younger, the graduation age, 17, but and then that transition age, and then just the younger adults with different abilities, unique abilities, they were not encouraged to go into healthcare. And I had students share with me as I opened this program at a local high school, and had principal was nice enough to give me an information session, about 30 minutes. And one of the young men came up to me and said, I like healthcare. I just nobody has ever talked to me about it, but I would like to be a pharmacy tech. And I said, oh, okay. And I said, let's talk more. And I told him, I don't have a pharmacy tech program just yet, but it does not mean you can't do this. And he says, well, I'm looking to explore anything in health, but that is my dream. No problem. And I said, that's good to know. And I write stuff like that down. That means a lot to me when students come and share with me. I don't get to be in the classroom on a daily basis. So when I'm able to talk to students and talk to people in the community that are entering the workforce or changing what they do in the workforce, I take note. So this is from the pilot program that we launched, our Strive in Healthcare. So this is our CNA, our Certified Nursing Assistant program, and we only launched it with 8 students. But it's one of those things that it was a long time coming to take the material and convert it into material that is in smaller increments. Anybody can look up a CNA course in the community. You can look that up right now. You can probably find some few miles from you. Here's a CNA program. Take our CNA program, go sit for this test. We'll do this, we'll do that. Boom, boom, here you go. Well, that doesn't work for everybody. Not that they can't do it, but that style may not work for everybody. So we take that same program, that same information, those same books, and for somebody that may have attention deficit disorder, or somewhere that those long hour classes where you're just sitting listening, and then you're okay, move over here to these skills, okay, do this, and then tomorrow you're going to come and do this. Well, we have taken that same information and broken it down into bite-sized hour pieces for 1 hour. But within that hour, we have touched, talked about, examined, looked at it in all 10 different ways, broke down every word and vocabulary, taken those same words and made them tangible so they can see and feel it. And that class, our class, is way different than something that you would go and get in the community that will not do that for you. So that's the big difference in a lot of the classes that we do with our skills training program. Um, we break everything down. We break it all down. And at the end of the day, and at the end of our program, you sit for the same test as somebody else would, the same test. It's not a special test, it's not another test, it's the same one. But by this time, everybody in our class has seen these words 1,000 times. They've seen these definitions, they've seen the skills, they practice these skills. So your CNA, 2 or 3 weeks, become a CNA in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Our CNA, you may become a CNA in 6 months, may become a CNA, may take half the school year, but the results are the same. And we also come along with coaches, community partners, talking to the organizations, having those organizations come out and see our program, having those hospitals support us. And we're nonprofit, so we're not above asking for things. I'm not scared to ask. I need your help. I want our students to wear the white coats. I want our students to have badges. Can you help us with this? Come see what we're doing. So that way, when these students are ready to get in their career, this hospital, this nursing home, they are already familiar with what our needs are, what they're doing. They know that they may have somebody that comes along and maybe check on them just to see, maybe just to help and just see what, okay, is everything, good? Are you happy with this? Are they happy with you? And so that's the difference between like coming to an Easterseals training program and just going in the community and doing it yourself. So what we offer, what we offer currently under this program and what we will offer. So hospitality, we offer a hospitality program that also offers certifications, nationally recognized certifications. Our health, that's the CNA that we were talking about, but we look to branch out with the health part. It's just, it takes a lot more because health careers are regulated by your local state, and so there's things that we just have to make sure we have in place with health. So right now we're just starting off with CNA, but we do hope to develop that out into a few more. We just also finished our first on-the-job training with a young lady who came to us from vocational rehab down in West Palm Beach. And she's interested in childcare. She wants to be a teacher. Well, Easterseals, we have those childcare centers. And what better way to show these little kids that are in our childcare centers that we employ, right? Representation is important. Seeing yourself in the future is important. So she came and did on the job training with us, and she absolutely loved it. The teachers absolutely loved her. There's a place for her there. Now, We just have to figure out how to do our own child care certifications so we don't have to send those people off to do it. But because we do have to send her off, it's a conversation with her vocational rehabilitation counselor to say, how can we help her through this process? How can we be there and make sure that she obtains what she needs for her future career? And then moving into tech, this one I am super excited in doing. Now, we took our lead from national. And it's something I've always wanted to do, but our national Easter seals, where you can look on YouTube and you can see that they've started like their own gaming. They have like a gaming team. And I was like, oh, that's so neat. Right? It's so neat. I'm not a gamer, so I took tech like I'm gonna do it probably it's not the most fun way yet, but we'll get to the gaming at some point. But right now, what we're focused on when we say tech, more working on the computer, more of those certifications um, for programs that you use for jobs. You know, it is no secret that many uh, jobs are work from home, so you need to know your way around a laptop and programming. And so I've been talking to a few companies, and thanks to Shania's council meetings, I met some great people to help me and for me to get information and just really dissect out how this will look, build this out. And so marketing. I'm a firm believer in standing by what we do, what we tell other companies to do. So guess what? Easter Seals has a marketing department too. Um, we are open for on-the-job training. The good thing about the marketing department, there's positions that you can do from home. You can do it right from home. And so that is something that we have talked to our marketing department about in the past. They're open to it, they like it. And it's just about creating those opportunities. So when I talk to other companies, when I say, hey, let me show you what we did. Like we're talking about this, but let me show you what we did. This is what we're thinking. Let me see what you have. And then we start the conversation so that that way we can bring somebody in marketing. You know, they can learn, they can do this, they can see if it's really what they wanted. Like, oh, okay, this is also part of marketing. Um, for national opportunities, you know, our office, if you go online, it will show you like it'll have the national office contact, but it will also, you can find the Easter seals in your area and find out what they're doing. Here's our hospitality. This is who we are governed through with our certifications, the American Hotel and Lodging and Educational Institute. Again, I won't spend much time on this, but you can see on the screen. So this is not an Easter Seals organization. This is an organization that anybody can go and say, oh, I want to, let me see what they offer. The difference is the same thing with the health and with CNA. The difference is how we teach it. That's the main thing. That's the huge difference, how we teach it. How do we break this information down to get the same result? To get our individuals who are participating in this get the same nationally recognized certifications that do not expire, and to get the help, to get the job coaching, to get them ready to go on the tours, to go and say, hey, I didn't know hospitality offered so many things and offers so many transferable skills. And here's just a list of the five that we do. Um, and they all have great transferable skills. So breakfast attendant, guest room attendant, maintenance, front desk, and guest services goal. Here's our healthcare, what I talked about in our Strive healthcare. So Easter Seals Florida, the CNA test prep class, that is what we do. We prep them. It covers 21 skills for the state test. Easter Seals we're also, what we are working on, and this was born out of our CNA prep class is offering the first aid certification, offering CPR certifications, working with national partnerships and career support. And these are actual students in our class. These are different areas. So these aren't all in one place. And so you see at the bottom, that's our CNA class, and at the top is one of our hospitality classes. And I just did this just to show the importance of working together. I just put a lot of the school districts that we work with, some of the colleges. I recently just did it was a workshop that I did at UCF, and it really opened the parents' eyes and the students' eyes as we talked about the awareness of month of April, limb loss and limb difference awareness month, and we talked a lot about that. And they had somebody there for Autism Awareness Month, but then we just talked about everything. I'm kind of telling you, uh, these were these were like freshmen, high school students, and just sharing the information, talking about disabilities that are not visible was a big thing with them because a lot of them could relate to that. And so that helps enrich the community, that enriches the families, that enriches the opportunities. So I just wanted to share some of the areas that some of the people we touch and some of the school districts that we worked with. And that will leave time for a few minutes for any questions. And I thank you so much for giving me this platform.
Well, thank you so much, Ayana, for the wealth of information, and just learning about all the wonderful opportunities at Easterseals Florida and Easterseals nationwide. So thank you so much. Um, Now we'll leave it for questions. If you have any questions, you could raise your hand, or you could put your questions in the chat, and then we'll go from there. I see that we have Paula on the call. Paula is our workforce development program volunteer. So Paula, is there anything that you wanted to mention or have any questions?
Yeah. So I'm trying to operate my laptop. Well, I mean my iPad. Sorry. Wonderful. Thank you very much for the presentation. Well done. Well thought out. I'd like to know the expanse of. So you're centered in Central Florida, and the programs you discussed were primarily in that area. And I know you listed that you should check out your local or national Easterseals for what programs they're offering. Is it easily navigable on the website to find the area the person may be residing in, and then what programs towards career goals that that area is offering?
Well, if you go to our national site, there should be a search. Well, they do have an area for like employment, and they talk about their national, like things they've done nationally and people they're working with. However, if you put in Easterseals, Texas, or Easterseals, Georgia, and that should come up to their website. It should be a way that from the national site that it will take you to them. Or even if you just put Easterseals, Florida, Easterseals, Georgia, Easterseals, Texas, it will come up. And all of them have it's pretty plain to see services. And it will be broken down and you'll be able to find out what they do. You can also contact vocational rehab because there should be one in every area. And you can ask them as well about their local Easterseals offices and the services that they provide through there. I hope that, did that answer your question?
It does, and I'm hoping
Okay.
that other participants then have a broader scope for that as to how to actually seek out in their area a possible career change, career development. And then my another question I have is the programs that you're offering, if a student, and I don't mean by student of what we consider from primary to elementary to high school, but student in your programs, if they're not, if they lose interest in it or they're not doing well in a particular arena, so they thought they would go into healthcare, they're not grasping it. What are the then path for them to reorient themselves to a different career that Easterseals offers?
So what we do, so that's a twofold question. So if they came through us through one of the schools that we partner that we're in, that's a conversation that we have with their full-time instructor. Um, and then we have that conversation with the teacher, with the instructor. If they came through us from the community, and maybe it's through say Goodwill, or maybe it was an authorization through VR, because we work with that student or client from the community, we then will say, hey, let's have a conversation, because there are benchmarks and checkpoints as you go through the program. So if we see, we should be able to see as an instructor that this is probably not where this person really wants to be. So then let's go back to the table and let's talk about it. You know, what is it? Is it too difficult? Did you not like it? Or just you're just losing interest. So then let's go back. Let's go back and explore. So this is not what you thought it would be. Then we go back to explore, what do you want to do next? We just ask the question, what do you want to do next? And it's worth the time to spend, because that's what these career exploration is, everything. And even for, we've had students, and I call them students because once you're in a class, you're a student, no matter your age, right? And so we had a lady, I think she told us she had just turned 60 because it was her birthday while she was in the class. And she was like, wow, she signed up for 2 hospitality courses. And she wanted, in her case, she wanted to take all of them, after she took the 2. And then we made a plan for her because she really liked it. And she was 60. And, she was like, man, I thought I was, too old to do this. I thought, my ailments would keep me away from doing that. So we just have the conversation and really pay attention to the progression of the class and the students' performance.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you also for the data from Department of Labor. Well done.
Thank you. I see a chat. I met with VR in Manatee County and they set me up with a job coach from next, but I haven't heard anything else from the job coach. I would like to get a part-time 24 to 30 hours a week. I have a security license and have knowledge of Seaport Coast Guard regulations. I've done TW, oh wow, TSA positions. Okay. Um, if you have not heard from your job coach and you need assistance with this, if you go to the VR website and look up your county, it will tell you who the supervisor is. Reach out to the supervisor. You can email them and let them know your experience. It is important. Again, this is that self-advocacy piece. They are there to help you. It is unacceptable not to hear from your job coach. Um, so please, if you can follow through. And matter of fact, my email address, if you cannot find who that person is in Manatee County, My email address is there. Send me an email and I will find out who the manager is for that office and share the information with you so that you can reach out.
And I'm also gonna drop your email in the chat, Ayana, so
No
that
problem.
way, our participants have it as well. If they have any questions, you know, from any of the information that you went over during the webinar, or a question about VR specifically and services, Ayana's email is in the chat. If you want to reach out to her. Also too, we have our workforce development program here at the Amputee Coalition. So if you want more information on our programming, as well as what we do and the resources and services that we provide, definitely take a look at our workforce development webpage, as well, to schedule a meeting with me, to learn more. But again, Ayana, it was definitely such a pleasure. You know, as we're closing out Limb Loss, Limb Difference Awareness Month, to have you come in to do a webinar and for your expertise, is truly, truly appreciated. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a great evening.
You too, and thank you attendees for joining the call. For those who are not able to attend this evening, this will be recorded, for you to watch at a later time. But thank you again, and I hope everyone has a great evening.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.